Did you know that right now, millions of American drivers over the age of 55 could unknowingly be holding a driver's license that will no longer be accepted at airports, federal buildings, or even certain state offices starting this very month, March 2026. That's not a scare tactic, my friend, that's the reality of the Real ID Act finally reaching its absolute final deadline, and if nobody has sat down with you and explained what this truly means for your daily life, well, that's exactly why you're here today. So settle in, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know, clearly, calmly, and completely, so you never find yourself caught off guard. If this sounds like something your family or friends should hear too, go ahead and hit that like button right now, subscribe so you never miss updates like this, and drop a comment below telling me your state. I'd love to know where you're watching from. Now, before we dive into the specifics of what's changing, I want you to picture something for just a moment. Imagine you've packed your bags, you've said goodbye to the grandkids, you've driven yourself to the airport feeling perfectly prepared, and then the person at the security counter looks at your ID, shakes their head, and tells you that you cannot pass through. No boarding. No trip. Just like that. That scenario, as unbelievable as it might sound, has already happened to real people across this country, and with the March 2026 deadline now officially here, the window to avoid that kind of moment is closing fast. So let's make absolutely sure that doesn't happen to you. Let's go back a little bit, because understanding where this all started actually helps make sense of why it matters so much today. After the tragic events of September 11, 2001, the United States government took a long, hard look at national security, particularly at how easy it had become to obtain fraudulent identification. In 2005, Congress passed the Real ID Act, a federal law designed to set strict, standardized requirements for the kinds of identification that states issue to their residents. The idea was simple but powerful: create a national standard so that a driver's license issued in, say, Montana, would meet the same security requirements as one issued in Florida. For over 20 years, states have been working to comply with this law, and some have done so quickly while others have dragged their feet. But now, in March 2026, the federal government has drawn a firm, final line in the sand. So what exactly makes a Real ID-compliant license different from a standard one? Well, this is where it gets really practical and important for you. A Real ID-compliant driver's license or state ID card will have a small gold or black star printed in the upper corner, usually the top right. That little star is your golden ticket, so to speak. It tells federal agencies that your ID was issued after your state verified specific documents, proof of your full legal name, your date of birth, your social security number, and 2 proofs of your state residency. If your current license doesn't have that star, then as of this month, it will not be accepted for domestic air travel, for entering federal courthouses, military bases, nuclear facilities, or certain other federally regulated locations. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, but I've had my license for years and nobody ever said anything. And that's completely understandable, because this transition has been so gradual that many people, especially those of us who aren't scrolling through government websites every day, simply haven't been informed. That's one of the things that genuinely frustrates me, because it's the people who are most responsible, the folks who renewed their licenses on time, who followed all the rules, who sometimes get caught out simply because the information didn't reach them clearly. You deserve better than that, and that's exactly what this video is here to fix. Let's talk about what you actually need to do if your license is not yet Real ID compliant. First, don't panic. The process, while it does require a visit to your local Department of Motor Vehicles, is very manageable when you know what to bring. You will need to gather a few key documents before you go. You'll need proof of your full legal name, which is typically your original birth certificate or a valid U.S. passport. You'll need your social security card or a document that shows your full social security number, like a W-2 form or a Social Security Administration letter. And you'll need 2 documents that prove your current address, things like a recent utility bill, a bank statement, or a piece of official mail with your name and address printed on it. Now, here's something important for those of you who have had a name change at some point in your life, and many of you who are married will know exactly what I mean. If the name on your birth certificate is different from the name on your current license, you will also need to bring documentation of that name change. That could be a marriage certificate, a divorce decree, or a court-ordered name change document. I know gathering all of this can feel like a lot, but think of it this way: you're building a personal document folder that will serve you for years to come, and once it's done, it's done. One of the things I really want to emphasize for our viewers who are 55 and older is that this process is entirely doable, and you should not feel rushed or intimidated by it. Many DMV offices across the country have made efforts to accommodate seniors, including offering appointments so you're not standing in a long line, and some areas even offer mobile units or extended hours. I would strongly encourage you to visit your state's official DMV website, or ask a trusted family member to help you do so, to find out exactly what your state requires and how to book an appointment. Every state is slightly different in terms of exactly which documents they accept, and getting that right before you show up will save you time and frustration. Now, let's address something that comes up a lot in conversations about this topic, and that's the question of passports. Some of you may be thinking, well, I have a valid US passport, so do I really need to worry about this? And the honest answer is, for air travel specifically, no. A valid US passport is always accepted as a form of federal identification, and it will get you through airport security without any issues, regardless of what your driver's license looks like. However, and this is an important however, a passport is not something most of us carry around every day. Your driver's license is your everyday ID. It's what you reach for when a pharmacist asks for identification, when you check into a hotel, when you're asked to verify your identity at a doctor's office or a federal agency. Having a real ID-compliant license just makes your daily life smoother and gives you one less thing to worry about. There's also been some conversation recently about enhanced driver's licenses, which are available in a small number of states including Michigan, Minnesota, New York, Vermont, and Washington. These enhanced licenses actually go a step further than the standard real ID. They can be used not just for domestic air travel, but also for crossing the border into Canada or Mexico by land or sea. If you live in one of those states and you do any cross-border travel, it might be worth asking your DMV about this option when you go in to upgrade your license. I also want to take a moment to speak to those of you who may have concerns about privacy with all of this. It's a completely reasonable thing to wonder about. The Real ID system does involve your state sharing certain verification data with the federal government, and I understand that for some people, that raises questions. What I can tell you is that the information being shared is limited to the identity verification process itself. It's not creating a federal database of your daily movements or activities. Your information is being used to confirm that you are who your license says you are, nothing more. But if this is a concern for you, I'd encourage you to look into it more deeply, perhaps speak with a local advocacy group or legal aid organization that can give you more detailed guidance specific to your situation. Now, let's talk about something that I think is genuinely exciting and worth celebrating, because not everything about these changes is a hassle. The modernization of our national ID standards has also pushed many states to improve the overall quality and security features of their driver's licenses in ways that actually protect you. Modern Real ID compliant licenses now include features like laser engraving, digital watermarks, and holograms that make them far more difficult to counterfeit. In a world where identity theft is one of the fastest growing crimes affecting seniors in particular, having a harder to fake ID is genuinely a good thing for all of us. And speaking of identity protection, this is a good moment to remind you to be cautious of anyone who contacts you by phone, email, or even at your door claiming to help you get your real ID for a fee or asking you to provide your personal documents to them remotely. The only place to get a Real ID compliant license is at your official state DMV or an authorized state agency. There is no legitimate third-party service that processes this for you, and unfortunately, scammers do prey on moments of confusion and transition like this one. Please protect yourself and spread the word to anyone you know who might be vulnerable to that kind of approach. As we start to bring things together, I want you to walk away from this video feeling informed, confident, and calm. The changes coming into effect in March 2026 are significant, but they are absolutely manageable. You have the information, you know what documents to gather, you know what to look for on your license, and you know what steps to take if action is needed. You are not behind, you are right on time, and that's exactly what matters. Coming up next, I'm going to wrap things up with a few final thoughts and some really practical tips to make your DMV visit as smooth and stress-free as possible, so don't go anywhere, because the best part is just ahead.